I'm convinced, and you tell me if you agree with this or not, Kai. You too, David, you too. I'm convinced we are born conservative or liberal. I'm convinced you're born left or right. I'm convinced you're born with left tendencies or right tendencies. I believe majority of the population is born on those two sides. Let me explain. I'll give you my argument, and please trash the argument. And folks, I want you to trash this argument as well as we're going through. Tell me if you agree with this or not. So, for example, I had a friend of mine who married a girl who was a full-on socialist. We go to dinner together. And I'm listening to her. I couldn't understand. Like, she was out of this world, complete, like AOC is the greatest, all this stuff. Rich people are this, capitalism sucks. All they care about is money. Nonstop she's going. And I paused. I said, can I ask you a question? She said, yeah. I said, what was your favorite subject in high school? She said, art. I said, what else? Journalism. What else? Music. I said, how'd you feel about math? Oh, I hate math. Really? Why do you hate math? I've never liked math. It always came hard to me. And from the moment I started taking math, it made me feel like I'm dumb. It made me feel like I'm not smart. I've just never liked math. Got it. For the last 10 years, I've been asking people this question. Who's on the left, who's on the right, how they are with math. It's not always right, but about 70% of the time, 80% of the time, it's right. You'll notice most people that are right brain will lean left. A lot of people that are left brain will lean right, right? But then there is a small populace, okay, which is, like, you know, in America today, there's a percentage of Americans, you cannot make them vote right. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's about 44%, right? Yeah. You can say whatever you want to say, they're not going to vote Republican, okay? There's 42% that no matter what you say to them, they're not going to vote Democrat. That's just kind of what you're dealing with. Then you got a little bit of the whole thing we talk about with, what do you call it?
Libertarian, Green Party, Libertarian, Independent.
Give those 4 or 5. You're really dealing with what? 10 or 12%, right? I think 12% of America, kids are born, not just America, kids are born. 12% of kids are born. And those are the ones that are kind of like, I kind of see what you're saying. It's a good point. Let me see what he has to say. You know what, Gerard, you made a good point. Phil, I don't know. I agree with him now, but Gerard, he just said something. Let me kind of weigh this out.
They're malleable.
I think there's about 12% that's malleable, okay? If you are able to, whoever converts that 12% the best, that party wins. So this isn't about fighting somebody that's never going to switch, left or right. This is about finding that 12% of reasonable people that are willing to sit there and say, here's my argument. What do you think? Well, pal, what do you think? I read one time in the article said this. Well, here's what I think about this. Well, I disagree with you. Cool, let's go back and forth, have banter. I'm convinced people are born left and people are born right. And the goal is to find that 12% that's malleable, that you can shift their thinking and let them have that debate to make a decision for themselves. What are your thoughts?
Real quick, how many of those 40% on either side believe they're in that 12% from hearing this?
How many the 40%?
How many of the 40% unswayable on either side?
Oh, they know.
Listening to this right now.
They know.
Convinced they're in that 12%.
Let me put it to you this way: the group that knows they're not is a group that says Pat has no clue what the hell he's talking about. But there's a group that's listening to this that's saying, I can't say this to anybody. I can't admit to it. Definitely I cannot admit to anybody. But I got to tell you, lately I've been kind of questioning some of this shit. It's like not making any sense. Why the hell would you get rid of, AP and honors program? Tell me how that makes any sense. Why the hell would you fire this person? Why the hell would you want to do this to taxes and change the incentives? Why the hell would you want to give people money to nonstop? I saw how my dad did that to my sister. My sister's now this. Yeah, I don't know if this stuff is starting to make sense to me. Like, believe me, the 12% of the populace is already questioning it on both sides. They're sitting there questioning it on both sides. Challenge is to be able to convert them. So if this is true, let's just say if this is true. Yeah. If this is true, you know what this means? 88% of arguments are worthless.
I do believe that.
88% of debates are worthless.
They're fun,
Did you understand what I said?
I fully agree with that.
If this is correct.
So protect your energy, big time.
Yeah, 88% is a waste of time.
But are you saying this is exclusive in America or worldwide?
No, worldwide. No, I think this is worldwide.
And you're saying born.
I think you're born.
Like how you're saying you're born gay, you're born straight. There's nothing.
No.
What is nature versus nurture? You're saying this is completely.
Gay. I'm not saying gay.
No, I'm giving an example. You're saying.
Yeah, I think so.
You're saying you're born politically left or politically right.
Yes.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I knew you weren't going to buy it.
I know. Well, I'll tell you why.
I knew you weren't going to buy it.
Like, recently I had a conversation. This is what I was asking you, United States, worldwide. Like, so for instance, my sister loves Trump.
Okay.
Loves Trump. Same parents, same dad, same mom, loves Trump. She couldn't tell you one policy.
Is she going to lose her job for loving Trump, or she's going to be okay?
This bitch hasn't worked in years. She's married to a wealthy dentist.
Damn.
Yeah, I said it.
Bro.
She's, yeah.
Sounds like Adam.
Yeah.
He's just married to his
She's-
cats.
You all right, Adam?
What's funny is
Imagine
she's
how
like,
he talks about us.
yeah.
She's
She's like a
great
communist
Great
dictator.
Damn.
That just her husband's
Got
a
it.
wealthy dentist.
Awesome.
And anyway,
We're on fire today.
She
Shout
loves.
out
Sis,
Adam's
I
sister.
promise you he loves you. I promise he loves
Yeah,
you. Keep
she's
going.
all right. I do love my sister. Do I like her? We'll see. But she loves
Why
Trump.
don't you talk about it?
Yeah, let's bring it up. Let's go a 10-minute diatribe. My family.
Bring
right
a
now.
couch here. Let this guy lay down for a quick second.
That's Gerard. That's Gerard.
That's me.
So another conversation I had recently was with a friend of mine from Israel.
Yeah.
And they were obviously you see a lot of results that are happening with the vaccine. Not to get too vaccine-y right now, but I said, who's hesitant in Israel taking the vaccine? And they go, oh no, it's the people on the left. I said, what? They go, yeah, the people on the way left. They don't want to do anything with the vaccine. I said, hold on, let me get this straight, because traditionally in the United States, it's not traditionally, like we've seen a lot of young male skewing right do not want to take the vaccine. A lot of African Americans won't take it as well.
Anti-establishment either way. It's been far right in Israel
and then,
for a long
so
time.
they flipped it on me. They were like, yeah, it's the people on the left, highly educated, just factors that you did not expect to hear.
It's highly educated people here
Yeah.
too, actually.
Questionably.
No, it's quantifiably. We did it 3 podcasts ago.
So-
PhDs.
So it wasn't a left.
Bro, give me that red button.
It flipped it. So the point is this: I'm not understanding. Like, depending on where you're born, depending on what country you're in, I think politics is completely different. I don't think just because you were born in the United States that you're automatically going to be on the left or the right.
So let me.
I'm not understanding why.
So here's the
Let's
question.
go.
Let me go a little layer deeper. Okay, you ever seen a family, same mom and dad, 4 kids, one becomes a phenom, crushes it, one just a regular government employee, one becomes a drug addict, and one becomes a priest. You ever notice, like, what the hell just happened there? Same mom and dad, same environment, same upbringing, 4 different human beings.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of your DNA where you're wired in a certain way, and a big part of it is politically. Because so don't get me wrong, I have these other 4 issues that I add to it. I made a video about this 4 years ago. I think it has to do with your upbringing. I think it has to do with your family. I think it has to do with your first person that took a liking into you and gave you a lot of love, and you feel like there's a certain level of loyalty to that person, whether that person's the left or right or rich or poor or whatever it is. You kind of have that loyalty to that person. A person early on that was an influencer that you started reading up on. You're like, oh my gosh, I believe in this guy's philosophy. I think all that stuff has also a place to it. And then I think it also has to do with, if you had a bad experience with gun when you were, 16 years old, one of your little nephews or, nieces saw a gun, dad left it there, shot themselves, you're probably never going to like guns.
This is all stuff that happens while growing up, though.
Sure,
What does this have to do with being born?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. But I still think there's a part of people where your wiring is to be one side. Because there is no way a guy on the left and a guy on the right, smart both on both sides. They're smart on both sides. Left thinks the right's dummies, and the right thinks the people on the left are dumb. Neither one of them are dumb. Then what is it with them? Because they're both very convicted in their beliefs. How did that happen?
It's what they prioritize. So I tend to agree with you, but I also tend to agree with Adam. I don't think it's a left and right issue because politics are constantly evolving. I do think that there's a proclivity to either value intellect or emotion. I think that some people don't care whether or not you're right as long as you make somebody feel good. You understand? Like, there's some people that are like, I don't care if I'm right as long as that person feels good and comfortable with me. And then there's other people that are like, if that person can't be comfortable with the truth, to hell with them, right? And that's
you.
That's definitely me, right? Yeah, you can ask the
It's like the book that was just
yesterday.
written about Peter Thiel, Contrarian, right? That guy you keep talking about. Maybe it's conform and non-conform. Maybe it's agree and disagree. Maybe it's question and don't question.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that. But to me, there is an element of some people that just say, oh, yeah.
Some people have to be liked.
Yeah.
They have to be
And
liked.
some people are just kind of like, but, there's a part of that. Again, look at the creative side, though. Creative is typically... Hollywood is creative, left. You look at how the creative typically leans left. You look at the logic typically leans right.
What would you say about country singers? There are a lot of them that are right, and they're all creative.
Good point.
country singers that are what? That are on the right?
Yeah.
Then that goes to how they're raised. Then that goes to their upbringing. That goes to, their rituals and their values for the country and what they saw. That goes to that part as well. But that's a very small genre of the industry. Remember, I'm not saying this is 100%. I'm saying 70%.
There's a
30% out
Pat,
to it.
To your point,
Yeah.
I feel like politics is almost like religion. I was born into a Jewish family, and we were doing Jewish practices, customs, and traditions. If I happen to be, my dad is a percentage Italian, and for whatever reason he married an Italian woman, I would have born into a Catholic family, and I would have been a Catholic.
I agree.
And
I agree.
Like religion, more than anything, it's around what you're raised around, and that's what you're going to be. If I was
but think about
raised
this,
into a Mormon
this
family,
more
I'd be,
validates my point. This
yeah.
more validates my point. What percentage am I talking about?
10%, right?
I said
10,
10%.
12%.
90% of people, if your dad's a Christian, you're a Christian. If your mom is a Catholic, you're a Catholic. But there's a 10% that's kind of like, I have to figure this out for myself.
You think it's only 10%? That seems so low to me.
I don't. I think it's that small of a percentage. I think it's that small of a percentage. The Pareto theory is 80-20. Whether it's 10 or 20%, it's not a big number. I'm telling you right now, it is not a big number. Go back to your classroom and think about who was like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. And then think about some of the guys that are like, well, how about this? How about if we try this? How about this? What about that? Why do we do this? Why did this take place? What about that? What about this? There is the why person. I want to know more. Tell me, give me some depth in this, right?
So then,
it's
how
not a
do
big
you
percentage.
have massive cultural changes? Like how does slavery end if that's the case? How do things evolve?
How does it end?
Yeah,
because somebody questioned it.
So one of that 10% comes out,
of course,
and then they are able to convert.
Well, go back to
more
slavery.
than 10%.
Go back to Armenia. Go back to genocides. Go back to any of these events that took place. Man, like when you're in it, you don't even know when you're in it. You're thinking there is no out. But there is a 10%, small percentage that has faith that this can change and they're willing to stand up. Slavery stopped because of who?
Does that 10%
What
then
happened
convert that other 90?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. This is not no conspiracy theory. It's just a question I'm about to ask you. Okay, so don't flip out here, folks who are, this is just a question. The cause of Lincoln's death.
The doctor?
Abraham Lincoln. The cause of Lincoln's death. At the Ford Theater. Everyone's been there. You've seen. Okay. What was the cause? Is it just a black and white cause?
No, it was a series of events.
Okay.
So the security guard leaving his post, John Wilkes Booth, obviously the conspiracy shooting, and then a lot of people think that Lincoln could have somehow survived, that the doctor might have actually accelerated his death too. So.
Well, okay, fine. Go put a percentage on it. You think people like the fact that he stood up as a Republican against those who liked slavery?
No, literally half the nation left.
Okay, so that's the point there. Look at this guy who's a president who could have easily said, yeah, let's just go one more. I'm not going to be the guy. Let Grant be the one that fights for something like this. This guy stood up for it. How many people would have done that? Not a lot of people. Most people passed the buck, right? That's a 10% community. The 10% community is not... Believe it or not, it's the 10% that has the courage to stand up and talk about stuff that others don't want to talk about. What happened last night when we're talking to this guy? I don't want to say his name because that's his business. What did he say? I living in California. You saw where he was, living in California, and we were talking politics. Oh, well, fuck, Biden's, flips out. All of a sudden, he went from zero to pissed off. He was like this the entire time.
Yep.
Composure. Then next thing you know, whoom, right? And we're like, and you live in California? Yeah. Dude, what the hell just happened right now? The last 5 minutes.
Cost him his business.
Flips out, cost him his business. Of course it cost him his business. But guess what he says? Yeah, I don't want to do the social media stuff because they come after you. That's 90%.
Yep.
That's 90%. Because who the hell wants that? He's like, nah, to pass the buck. I'm going to pass the buck. You try to do. No, I'm going to pass the buck. No, I'm going to pass the buck.
They don't want the pressure.
I think
Can't handle it.
The 10% of people who have the audacity to question are the ones that are going to save America.
Man, this goes all the way back to our initial conversation about the kids. You start reducing that percentage, you get the least amount of leaders that actually want to speak up and speak out and do shit.
By the way, there's nothing like look, right now, I'm the host of this show. I'm presenting this. You guys are disagreeing. I'm not offended. Right. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how we're learning. This is how we go back and forth. Then I'm finding leaks in my argument and saying, well, I got a bunch of papers sitting on my desk to go look at. This is how discourse takes place, right? Where you get better. This is how it is with the kids as well. Right. This is a conversation, but I think the 10%ers are going to like us I don't think the 90% of the audience likes us, to be honest with you. I think if you're part of the 90% community, Guy said this the other day on a Twitter. He tweeted this. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. He said something to me the other day, and I retweeted and I responded to him. He said, I don't know what to make of you, Pat.
Oh.
Did you see that? He says, I don't know what to make of you. I saw that. He says, 1 minute you're this and 1 minute you're that. I don't even know if I have it. Okay, there it is. He says, Patrick, I really don't know what to do with you. I just can't categorize you, which is frustrating. You're like a moving target that is very difficult to hit. One moment you're fantastic. The next moment you're very disappointing. I'm at my wits' end with you, right? And I respond. I said, there will be more changes coming soon. So save yourself the frustration and agony and move on.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound healthy for you. Wish you nothing but the very best.
Yeah.
You know why? Why? Because we're questioning.
Yeah.
And we're like trying to get a little bit more to say, I don't know. Just put it together.
People want to define you. They want to box you in. They want to say, oh, no, this is him and this is what, oh, hold on, what? That doesn't add up.
Adam, it's more
than
than
that. It blows their mind.
It's more than that. They don't want to hear what you have to say. They want to hear you saying what they want you to say.
That's exactly what it is.
They want to speak to an echo chamber.
And you actually made a great point before about the intersection between politics and religion. That is where we're at right now. So when you can't have an intellectual conversation with something that's so emotional, right? Normally it would be, or the way it was supposed to be, politics were intellectual, right? It's a discussion about how to allocate resources in government, right? There's always a sliding scale. There's sometimes we need more, there's sometimes we need less, and it should always be open for discussion, right? Religion is for people, it's eternal. It's the eternal truth. This is, I am right, everybody else is wrong, and I'm betting my eternal soul on it, right? So there's this idea of when you question someone's religion, you're questioning their entire identity. You're not questioning their decision-making in the moment. You're questioning who they are as a person. So as people have taken their politics and they've taken their political perspective as their religion, as their worldview, and as their personality, you can't disagree with them politically because now you're disagreeing with the essence of themselves. You're saying you're a bad person. You understand? And that's a really, really dangerous place to be.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.